Good afternoon. I am going to be sharing a little bit about a quick little project that I'm going to be starting. My daughter and I are obsessed with willow trees, weeping willow trees to be specific. And I had made I have the Nextdoor app on my phone, and I had inquired of my neighbors in my neighborhood and beyond if anybody had a willow tree that they would be willing to part with a branch. And I had someone who actually just happens to live down the street and has a willow tree that my daughter and I actually enjoy walking by. Saw the post and offered up her tree to share some cuttings. And I was watching some YouTube videos on growing willow tree, and that's what they said. Actually, the first thing I saw was you can buy a cutting, and I'm like, well, that seems crazy when we have a bunch of willow trees all over our area. It's a popular tree. So that's when I made the inquiry of neighbors, and so she offered hers. So today we went over and we knocked on her door, or actually Solace did that. She was such a brave girl. She knocked on her door. She said, "Can I have one of your willow branches?" And of course the lady thought she's adorable and said, "Of course you can." So she said, "Take any branch you like." So I brought my scissors, and they were regular kitchen shears. They weren't any fancy scissors that I should have used. But they should have been gardening shears, but I didn't have any. So I brought my kitchen shears, and anyway, so she picked a branch and I cut it. Actually, she picked a really big branch and it was too big for my scissors. So I said, try a different one. So I found a branch and I cut it, and I watched the YouTube video. I will link below the one that I watched. I actually watched a couple, so I'll link them both below so you guys can, if you're interested in growing your own willow tree. Everybody suggested springtime, but I just couldn't wait. I wanted to try and see if it can't hurt. If anything, I'll just go back in the spring and get another branch. I'm sure she's willing to share. She has a huge willow tree. So anyway, I got a willow branch. I watched how they cut it, and they cut it in smaller pieces, which is what I did. And the one I watched said to keep a little bit of green, like they said to trim all the stems, but keep a little bit at the end, so a little bit of green at the end, so that you can tell how your cutting is surviving. So if it starts to turn yellow and then brown, you know that the cutting didn't work. So I have a couple of leaves here, and then this one, I couldn't bear to cut like this one in half, so I left this was the whole length of the stem. So I left the whole length of the stem. But I did cut the rest, and I've got them submerged in tepid water. And I think I was reading it takes like a week or so of just leaving it submerged in, not in direct sunlight, in indirect sunlight. And it will start to, you'll see some little white buds where the roots will grow out. And you can kind of see, if you look really close, there's lots of little dots, and I think, so you can kind of see some here and here, and if it were submerged, that would turn into roots, I'm guessing, I don't know. But like, we'll look like here, like right here is one, and then there's lots of little ones here. And if you leave them submerged, then they actually turn into roots. So I'm excited. I've always wanted a willow tree. Hopefully we'll see some roots grow, and then once roots grow, these guys should start to grow. These branches should actually either start to grow, or new ones should start to grow. There's a couple of little like buds where you could see potential new growth. So that's where that would be. So anyway, I'm super excited. This is just a quick little video. Wanted to show you the before, and I'll actually have a before picture at the beginning of the video, just so we can kind of see our progress. So this is day one. We'll see.